A solution is when something such as a powder dissolves into something such as a liquid. This is called the solvent and the solute. The solute is what you dissolve into the solvent, and the solvent is a liquid, and the solute is a powder. Water, for example, is a very good solvent. Some good solutes are salt and sugar. I'm going to show some examples of dissolving in action. So I have a hot water going into this mug, and then this would be the solvent, and then I'm going to add a packet of hot chocolate into it, which acts as the solute. Now there are marshmallows in this mix, and the marshmallows are not soluble, which means that they won't dissolve. So you can see clumps of marshmallows in here because they can't dissolve, but you can't see the water because the hot chocolate dissolved into it. And it's just a liquid now. Another example of a solvent and a solute is taking this cup of water and then adding salt to it. So if you grind some salt in there, then you take a spoon and you mix it. All the salt that's at the bottom right now will dissolve into the water and become salt water. Now you can find salt water in everyday life because it's in the ocean, and hot chocolate is a common household item. Now in here you can't even see that there's salt in there, but if you taste it, you can definitely taste the difference between water and salt water. And then an example of something that is not a good solute is chili powder, because it won't dissolve into the water. You can put that on the top, but it doesn't really mix in, it just kind of stirs itself around. See, now you can still see that there's red flakes in there. An example of a good solute is adding a little bit of sugar into water. So here's sugar going into the water, and then if you stir it, it'll disappear. Let's see, and then you can't even see the sugar anymore. Another good example of a solute is taking ramen flavoring and pouring a little bit into the water, because this will dissolve. Like if you make ramen, it'll make the soup raw. You can't even taste the difference between, like, you won't be able to see that there was actually water along with it. And then this also changes the color of the water, so you can tell that it's not really water anymore. See, now it's yellow. And then a final example of a bad solute is, for example, taking this Oreo and putting it in the water. No matter how much you stir it, that Oreo is not going to disappear. It's just going to get kind of mushy and gross. So you can't even stab it and make it go away. So just as a recap, all of this is examples of solutions, which is when something dissolves into something else. And water is a really good solvent because a lot of things dissolve into water. And solubility is the amount of solute that will dissolve into the solvent. So you take a lot of sugar and put it in water, eventually the sugar will stop dissolving because it's reached the point where it can't dissolve anymore. And that is the end of my portfolio concept.